Convention on the Rights of the Child, adopted by General Assembly Resolution 4425 of November 20, 1989. Article 25. States parties recognize the right of a child placed in the care of the competent authorities for the purpose of his care, protection or physical or mental treatment to a periodic assessment of the treatment provided to the child and all other conditions related to such care of the child. Article 26. 1. The participating states recognize the right of every child to enjoy the benefits of Social Security, including social insurance, and take the necessary measures to achieve the full realization of this right in accordance with their national legislation. 2. These benefits are provided, as necessary, taking into account the available resources and capabilities of the child and the persons responsible for the maintenance of the child, as well as any considerations related to the receipt of benefits by or on behalf of the child. Article 27. 1. The participating states recognize the right of every child to a standard of living necessary for the physical, mental, spiritual, moral and social development of the child. 2. The parent or other persons raising the child bear the primary responsibility for ensuring, within the limits of their abilities and financial capabilities, the living conditions necessary for the development of the child. 3. States parties, in accordance with national circumstances and within their capabilities, shall take the necessary measures to assist parents and other persons raising children in the exercise of this right and, if necessary, provide material assistance and support programs, especially with regard to food, clothing and housing. 4. The participating states shall take all necessary measures to ensure the restoration of the maintenance of the child by parents or other persons financially responsible for the child, both within the participating state and from abroad. In particular, if the person who is financially responsible for the child and the child reside in different states, the participating states shall facilitate the accession to international agreements or the conclusion of such agreements, as well as the achievement of other relevant agreements. Article 28. 1. States parties recognize the right of the child to education and, with a view to progressively achieving the realization of this right on the basis of equal opportunities, they, in particular, A. Introduce free and compulsory primary education. B. Encourage the development of various forms of secondary education, both general and vocational, ensure its accessibility to all children and take such necessary measures as the introduction of free education and the provision of financial assistance, if necessary. C. Ensure that higher education is accessible to all on the basis of everyone's abilities through all necessary means. D. Ensure that information and materials in the field of education and vocational training are accessible to all children. E. Take measures to promote regular school attendance and reduce the number of students who have left school. 2. States parties shall take all necessary measures to ensure that school discipline is maintained using methods that reflect respect for the human dignity of the child and in accordance with this convention. 3. The participating states shall promote and develop international cooperation on issues related to education, in particular with a view to contributing to the elimination of ignorance and illiteracy throughout the world and facilitating access to scientific and technical knowledge and modern teaching methods. In this regard, special attention should be paid to the needs of developing countries. Article 29. 1. The participating states agree that the education of the child should be aimed at A. The development of the personality, talents and mental and physical abilities of the child to their fullest extent. B. Fostering respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms, as well as the principles proclaimed in the Charter of the United Nations. C. Fostering respect for the child's parents, his or her cultural identity, language and values, for the national values of the country in which the child resides, the country of his or her origin and for civilizations other than his or her own. D. Preparing the child for a conscious life in a free society in the spirit of understanding, peace, tolerance, equality of men and women and friendship between all peoples, ethnic, national and religious groups, as well as persons from the indigenous population. E. Fostering respect for the surrounding nature. 2. No part of this article or Article 28 shall be interpreted as restrict the freedom of individuals and bodies to establish and manage educational institutions, provided that the principles set out in paragraph 1 of this article are constantly observed and that the Education provided in such educational institutions complies with the minimum standards that can be established by the state.